Start broadcast.
Says we're live. Okay, so it says we're live. I'm going to attempt to see if you can see us. Can you see us out there? Hi, everyone. Hey. Hi, people. Erica Yeri here with Mr. Christian Hosoi. Christian, how you doing?
How you doing, Erica? Good to see
Great.
you.
You too.
Stoked to be here.
All right, let's double check and see if we're live. We'll chat for now. We're here to celebrate the second iteration of the Skate Legends socks by Stance. We've got Christian Hosoi's wonderful Hammerhead
Black
graphic.
and red, of course. Man, favorite colors. Stance did an amazing job at making these socks, and it's pretty ironic how this is the 30th anniversary of the Hammerhead graphic and the Hammerhead shape. So to me, this is a huge like anniversary gift almost for me, and I couldn't be more stoked on how they came out. The comfort of them, how it fits to your foot. I mean, you guys know how Stance socks fit, but those of you who don't know, I'm telling you, you got to go out and get yourself a pair because it hugs your feet, fits your feet like a glove. But you can also get other people's socks, like my friends over here, right, Erica?
That's right.
We've got a whole collection, not only with mine, but I think
A bunch of your buddies.
Yeah, the complimentary collection here.
Steve Caballero.
Steve Caballero.
We're familiar with him, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay. We were
just skateboarding yesterday at the block, practicing for the Vans Combi Pool Contest.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and then we've got Ray Barbie.
Yeah, Ray Barbie, amazing. I mean, pioneer street skater, you know, from back in the day, no comply master, but also a musician, you know, and we travel around the country together.
Multi-talented guy right there.
As well.
We've got two John Cardiel socks with two different colors. We couldn't choose just one. We give you the red and the blue options here.
I love that. John Cardiel is getting his Hall of Fame award. He's inducted in the Hall of Fame this year. So next week we're going to be seeing him get into the Hall of Fame. It's well deserved. I think John Cardiel.
We love John Cardiel. All hail Cardiel, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. We've got
those colors. Those are sick.
Those are rad. I love those. All right. We've got everyone's best friend, Mr. Jeff Grosso.
Jeff Grosso. We've been hanging out since we were kids, and this is iconic graphics of his, and we ride for the same team, Vans, and so we get to travel around together all the time, and it's just pleasant to hang out. He's one of my favorite people. Just how much he's passionate about skateboarding, how much he loves it, and it's infectious for me.
We love Jeff Grosso around here too.
Yeah.
And we've got
baby blue, by the way.
Yeah.
Sick baby blue.
We've got, last but not least, Mr. John Lucero. We were talking a little bit earlier how John is behind many super legendary graphics. So it's really rad that we finally got a Lucero sock in the mix in the second iteration of the Skate Legends by Stance.
Yeah, John is one of the most innovative street skaters from back in the day as well, and ripped Vert back when we grew up together. But his graphics are so iconic. This graphic is one of the graphics that sold tens of thousands of skateboards back in the day. I remember it was one of the best-selling boards of the day. But he's not only a skateboarder, but he is an artist, true artist. Did these art, and he's also done graphics for me for Hosoi Skateboards this last year when he did Elgato's and my pro boards.
Yeah.
And so I love John Lucero. And purple. It was purple and yellow.
Yeah, mix it up. We mix it up.
This is,
you know what? You've got options.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of options in this second iteration. So you guys have all, everyone aside from Lucero, this is your second sock with Stance. The first one we did is the Rising Sun sock with you. And that one was awesome. Do you see those out and about?
I see them all the time. It's amazing, because they're so bright.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you see kids out there wearing them, they're wearing them loud and proud.
Oh, yeah.
And it really is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because it's such an old graphic. I mean, it's almost going to be 35 years old in a couple of years. And so to see that really reminds me of where I came from, how far I've come.
Yeah.
And it's pretty special.
Well, congratulations on the 30 years of the Hammerhead. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love seeing those boards. And so many board companies now are, making shapes that are so similar to that. that like, you know, guys kind of want bigger boards a lot of times now, and it's pretty cool to see like the trend kind of.
Yeah, it's cool to
circle.
see like shape boards come back and people wanting to ride old, I guess they're called old school boards, but you know, I just think it's creative when you see boards that are not just like good looking, but they're functional as well. And when you see a good board and you get on it and it feels like a glove or like a race car or something like that, it's something that, you know, I look at and go, wow, that was amazing design. I'm sure car designers probably do the same thing, you know, whether it's Porsche, Ferrari, you know, all those companies. And when they look at a car on the road and when they drive it, how it drives, I think that's the same sensitivity that I have when I look at skateboards, when I look at a shape, when I look at Jeff Grosso, a John Lucero, you know, a Steve Cavallaro board. I really look at them and how they work. I get on them and I love to see what they like and how it works for them. And so the Hammerhead was birthed out of functionality, the whole shape, you know, it was.
Tell us about that. Can you walk us through that?
I mean, like the Hammerhead shape is, I started with a fish board. I said, you know what, I'm going to cut off the sides of my board. I'm going to make it lighter. I'm going to make a swallowtail because I like to do tail taps on PVC coping. Back in the day, before metal coping, we did PVC coping and it was super slippery. And tail taps was one of my favorite tricks. Shogo Kubo. These are my, you know, guys that I looked up to. Those guys did these tricks amazing on pool coping. Very grippy. And so I made a swallowtail. And then I made a flat nose because I was doing air tail taps at that time. And I thought I might as well have a perfect flat spot to put my hand. And that's how the fish shape came about. And I rode for Alva at that time. And when I started my own company, I'm like, I need to have a different shape to identify with something new. And that's when I went, okay, I need like an area where I grab for backset airs. So I kind of notched out the board in the front. And I'm doing this all by hand on like cardboard paper, or it's foam cardboard paper. And I would sit there and I'd cut it out and I cut out those sides, and then I looked at it and it was a flat nose and it looked kind of stumpy and ugly. And I looked down at the tail and it was swallow. And so I went, I'll just swallow the nose. And I swallowed the nose and it immediately looked like, I go, wow, that looks like a hammerhead shark. And that's how it was born.
Good name.
It was born
Good name.
out of just, you know,
resemblance.
It was spontaneous.
I like it.
It wasn't, you know, thought of like a lot of the shapes today are just thought about, oh, I'll just make a shape. You know, where back then it was really came from a place of functionality.
So if you're just joining us, we are going through some of the Skate Legends version 2 socks that we just released on stance.com this week. They're in skate shops and surf shops worldwide. So you can pick up a pair now. They're available with a bunch of our favorite legendary graphics. We're going to be doing Skate Legends forever, as long as we can, until we pretty much use all the Skate Legends graphics that we feel really encompass our favorite yesteryear of skateboarding. But of course, Mr. Christian Hosoi is going to be in the mix.
It's funny, you know, the word legend, you know, I think of people that are legends, they're dead, you know what I mean? So even after we die, you know, we'll still be able to do the socks. So I think we'll be doing these forever.
Yeah, forever. We'll be wheeling in Christian in his wheelchair. And then, I'll be here with my gray hair. Yep, it'll be great. So it's really awesome. And a lot of you guys have been writing in all week on Twitter and writing in your questions. So we'll be going through some of those questions with Christian here. And if you want to get involved while we're on this broadcast, you can hashtag Stance Hangout and tweet us your questions, and then we might be able to get to them. We have some time to get through some of these questions, and I guess we actually have some people that we chose to be a part of this broadcast also. So Kelly, do you mind helping us figure out how to get them?
Any questions you want to, don't hold back. You can ask me anything. I'm an open book.
Okay, cool. So we'll figure out how to get the guys that we chose to be on camera with us and on the Hangout. But for now, keep sending in your hashtag Stance Hangout questions on Twitter to @Stance. But all right, I already asked you this question today, but I'm going to ask you again because we kind of already went over this, but I really liked your answer. And what is your favorite video part of all time?
Well, like I said before, I mean, what stood out for me was when Danny Way came out with the DC part, and it was just so like incredible, because the way that I was introduced to the mega ramp was when I was in my prison cell in prison, sitting there, and I got magazines sent to me. Skateboard Mag sent me that mag, and it's got Danny Way, the mega ramp, and it just blew my mind, because here I am, wanting to do the highest airs in the world, winning these, world records, Guinness Book and all that, and we're doing it. And I was thinking, how much higher can we get?
Yeah.
But here Danny Way's going, 20 foot on these ramps, and I'm like, it blew open the sky for me, and I realized, wow, there is more to be done. I'm sure that that's what, kind of like Jay Adams and Tony Alva thought when we got on a skateboard and started doing tricks, and then the 540 came, and I think that we were like blown away. Oh my God, what else can you do?
Yeah, the progression.
But how Danny Way could vision it, and dream it and make it into a reality, I thought it was just so incredible. And then when I got out, I got released right before the X Games. I think it was like the month before the X Games, and he won the X Games doing a price there.
Yeah. And
it was the first one that they had the mega ramp, and so for me, it was just such an emotional time, such a sentimental, attachment.
It's
to
an homage in a way too.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
When he put out that video part, it was just so it was beyond what I could even imagine.
Yeah.
And I have a great imagination.
Yeah.
But it was something special, and it always stuck out in my mind. And Danny Way also is a great person, and I've seen him. I sponsored him when he was 10 years old. I was one of his first sponsors, and to see him come from where he was at, and I knew there was something special about him back then. He's doing backflips off the bed in the hotel room. I'm going, what is up with this kid? Braces, little white kid. But to see him succeed and do the things, and he's got more in store. I don't think he's ready to quit.
Yeah, we're hearing about the video parts coming out that we haven't gotten to see in the Plan B video this year, and I know that there's stuff coming out of him. So I'm sure it's always going to be next level with Danny.
And also the Dogtown and Z Boys, the one that Stacy Peralta directed. I saw that while I was in prison too, and it really blew my mind, because these are the guys that I looked up to. These are the guys that took me under their wing. Jay Adams, when I was 10 years old, and took me to the Z Factory, gave me all my, hooked me up with everything. And I got a picture in the Skateboarder magazine in '79 riding a Z Flex George Wilson board.
That's right.
And I didn't even skate really big bowls yet. I was only just this little grommet skating the little bowls, but those guys took me under their wing, and to watch that documentary and how they, explained it, even though I was there, I missed right before that. So for me, that was a huge, information, and it really gave me the history of those guys before I met them.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge video that, impacted my life.
Yeah, I'm sure all of that's super influential on, your life as a young man, and then to get to watch it all come to fruition on a screen, I'm sure it's a pretty crazy feeling.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
Yeah. So here's another question we got for you, Christian. Do you regret missing the first X Games? Are you glad because it got you to where you are today?
Yeah, you know what? You always sometimes wish you could have done something that you've missed, but it's true. If we don't open one door, would we be where we're at today? And I'm thankful that I'm alive and that I've survived the choices that I made of not going. And I had a bad run of drug addiction that kept me from going and entering the first X Games in '95. And yeah, there's a lot of regret there, but you know what? Now I look back and I go, just like the question is, would I do anything different? No, I wouldn't, because here I am. I got 15 years of sobriety. I'm a pastor at a church here in, the sanctuary here in Costa Mesa. I'm, sharing my story with other people and helping people stay away from going down that dark road. Would that have happened if I would have went to the X Games? I don't know. We don't know those things, but definitely it would have been fun. I would have loved to be in that competition, but I don't regret anything. And to see where skateboarding was going at the time and where I was at in my head. I just thought it was just so played out, and in my head, you know, screwed up as how much I was. You know, I was like, oh, this is making skateboarding look bad, and they're just, you know, I was living the old punk rock, you know, lifestyle, and I wanted to be underground and just, you know, anti-establishment. But, you know, I think that was the artist side of me wanting to just keep everything to myself and not share it with the world. And so now looking at how popular skateboarding is, I think it's amazing how much the X Games did for the sport and how that really did open up the door for, you know, the rest of the world to see it, but also give everybody an opportunity to have a career in skateboarding, to have a platform to get sponsors. And so now I love going and supporting, you know, all these, you know, events, you know, whether it's X Games or, you know, Street League, all those, I mean, Vans does the pool party that's coming up, and, you know, these are the things that supports skateboarding and the industry as a whole and who we are. And I'm just stoked to be alive, to enjoy being a part of it. But,
yeah, it's great. Know. It's awesome. I mean, you can't turn back time.
I'm thankful.
Yeah, everything works out.
I'm thankful.
So here's another question for you, because this is super relevant. And Vans, who you've been associated with for so many years, just came out with their new video, Propeller. Whose part was your favorite part in Propeller?
You know, people ask me that all the time, and there's all different styles, such different styles of skateboarding that I really can't pick. Like I like certain, like Daniel Lutheran's part, the music goes amazing, and the editing with his, you know, skateboarding is amazing. Then you have Cale, you know, Walker, who just puts these banging tricks down. It's so, you know, cutting edge of skateboarding. I think he's kind of like your future, where Ave, you know, last part is just so defined and so refined and so precise, and he's got so much power, and it's, there's so much character there that how do you choose? You know, you can't really choose. And even all of the other ones, Raleigh, you know, putting down his part is so unique. Rowan, I mean, the list goes on all those guys. Fanner, Chima, I mean, Tony Trujillo's part is just so gnarly and so powerful, and it just shows you his personality, his style of skateboarding, and you just want to go skate. You just want to, you know, that video makes, you know, me hyped to just go skateboarding, and I'm getting that from everybody that watches it. I've seen it all over Europe. I got to see it about 6 times in a row. And every time I saw it, I saw something new that really opened up my eyes to, you know, skateboarding and how it relates to, you know, what I want to do. And just because I'm a true skateboarder at heart. You know, I was that kid that just wanted to skateboard all day, all night, and listen to music and eat, sleep, and skate. And so when I look at that video, it just gives me that inspiration to do that. And
so your favorite part changes from week to week. It just depends.
They're all just so
tons
good.
Of good stuff.
You know? I mean,
where did you guys have the best kind of crowd for? You guys did a world tour where you traveled east and ended up back in America.
Went to Berlin. I've never been to Berlin, so Berlin was an amazing time. I got to, you know, check out the culture there, hear the stories, and, you know, how, you know, the wall came down, all that stuff, and it really was. I mean, it was cultural there. I love it. It reminded me of art, like downtown LA before it became popular and people are moving in to live down there. And Paris, France, that was amazing because I went to the Louvre. We went to the Trocadero where they showed it. It was right there near the Eiffel Tower where we used to always go down there and skate.
That's right.
So it was cool to have it right there in that square where everybody's skating. And London, we went to House of Vans and got to skate at like 1:30 in the morning, just me and Cab. And, you know, see, we're still skating at, you know, go see a movie, we were like 24 hours in each town. And even though we were 24 hours in each town, I couldn't wait to skate that night and just have fun. And that's what we did. And then we caught a plane at 7 in the morning, you know, and got back to New York. We had our last, where I ended my tour with them was in New York City. And it was an amazing turnout to see all the New Yorkers. We had 2 showings, the one with the industry, people who were friends with,
Mhm.
the VIP, the people that have reserved, and then we had open to skateboarders.
Yeah.
And to see the difference, responses from each
Oh,
crew.
yeah.
I mean, it was rad to see the skaters just so amped
Yeah.
to watch it. And when they got out of there, they're like, I can't wait to go skating. They were like just getting on their boards, and they were out the door. They weren't like hanging out for anything. And then we
That's
ended our
awesome.
trip. They went on to Toronto and then to Mexico City. And I heard those showings were amazing as well.
Yeah, it looked like an awesome tour. Let's talk about Vans for a second more. What were the first pair of Vans you skated?
First pair of Vans, man, I think I ordered them, went to the Van store down there in Culver City, and just, I think it was like suede. They didn't even have waffle soles yet. See these waffle soles? They didn't even have waffle soles yet.
That's insane. That must have been a really long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably like, say, 7, 8 years old. And it was just deck shoes. It was like a blue bottom. Steve Van Doren would know the number to them. He knows the number to every single shoe. It's incredible,
Wow.
his memory. But I got those because I saw, Jay Adams and Tony Alva all wearing Vans. And so for me, it was like I had to have them. And then when the high top came out, when I went to Marina Skate Park and it started to get serious and the waffle sole came out, that's when it was a skateboard shoe. It was a high top, brown on tan.
Yeah.
And then there was a blue on blue, light blue on dark blue. And that's when it just meant something to have them. And I would take my shoes because they were brand new. They was kind of sharp on the edges. I would get my dad to drive around the parking lot at the skate park, and I would stick my feet out of the van and I would scrape down the sides of the shoes so it would kind of make them round a little bit. So I'd break them right in, and so I'd go right in the skate park.
The tactic, yeah. I've heard about shoes in the microwave. I've heard it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. I mean, skateboarders have other things that they do to get ready.
I just remember this is getting my first pair of shoes from Vans. I think Everett Rosecrans came to Marina Del Rey, and my dad was managing the skate park, and they're like, oh, there's this kid, whatever they said about me. And he's like, hey, you want some shoes? And I was like, what? Free shoes? I was like, and Vans? I mean,
count me in.
It was like Christmas or like it was my birthday. And I just remember it being so special. And those really are the ones that I really remember the most.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about this off camera, but how does it feel? A question that was asked is, and make sure you guys are tweeting at us, #StansHangout, if you want to ask Christian any other questions, because we're kind of blazing through this list right now. But how does it feel to see Chad Muska use the same skate deck graphic?
It was cool because I was in prison at the time, and when he introduced I was like, wow, that's cool. And my friends approached him and they're like, hey, what's up? And he's like, yeah. Is there anything I could do for Chris? And he ended up donating some of the proceeds to my attorneys and, to my wife, phone bills or whatever it was. And so it was cool to see him, support me in that way, use the graphic. And
that's right.
Instead of just taking it, biting it, using it and saying thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
For using it.
Yeah,
paying it forward. I just know that he was a colorful. He had personality. There was something about
we love the Muska.
Chad Muska that I was like always like, this guy's special. There's something about him. Even now, with his art, his passion for whatever he does, the DJing, all that stuff.
All of it.
I mean, but really his skateboarding is what he's really known for, and he's just an amazing skateboarder.
Yes, we love Chad Muska. I would love to get him in here one day. That'd be rad. Okay, how about this? If you weren't skating, what career path would you be going down?
The other career path probably would be playing pool. Shooting, billiards was a huge. We did it like 4 or 5 times a week. Every night we'd go shoot pool at Hollywood Billiards, and it was something we were competitive about with me and my friends, whether it was Scott Austin or Aaron Murray, Block from Venice, and then Robert Rustler, actor from Weird Science.
Oh, that's right.
And Thrashing. He was Hook and Thrashing. And we would always just go out every single night and shoot pool. and it was very competitive. I mean, this was probably as competitive as skateboarding. I had pool tables at my house up in Hollywood where I had my ramp, and if there was something that I would have probably done that, or I don't know, Ultimate Fighting if it was available, but it wasn't at the time. I mean, who knows? I always wanted to be Bruce Lee, or Elvis Presley, or Clint Eastwood. All those.
Just a little hodgepodge of those three would be rad.
Yeah. And Bob Marley was a huge influence on me when I was a kid, and I just wanted to, be an ambassador for peace and all that. But I almost got a Bob Marley tattoo when I was like 18. I was going to get a big portrait of him on my arm, and the tattoo artist, it was Mark Mahoney from Shamrock Tattoo. He was young at the time. We were young at the time, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go out of town. I'm going to come back." And when he came back, I was like, I don't want to get that tattoo now. And I've never gotten a tattoo until last year. I finally got this tattoo, which Aaron Murray did, and it's an art piece of my dad's. And I thought it was appropriate to do something that my dad did. I have the art piece and everything, and so for me, it's personal. That's cool
that he ended up doing it.
Yeah,
too. That's
and
neat.
My friend Aaron Murray did it, and so now I just want to get tattoos all over.
Yeah. All right. Now you're hooked.
I got the bug.
Well, at least you didn't get it when you were young. It would just be like completely. Well, if you would have started with Bob Marley, it'd be completely covered.
Yeah. Now I'm looking forward to doing, the religious tattoos, everything that I identify with, personality. I mean, love to get Bruce Lee on me. Obviously, he was somebody
influential in your life.
Super influential.
Okay. And we've got another question. So we were just talking about music a little bit, and one of the questions is, what were some of your favorite bands in the 80s, and what are some now? And are any of them the same? Like, I mean, of course, there's a lot of bands of transcend.
What's amazing is I was there during the time where the punk rock scene came in, and where Circle Jerk's Fear played at Marina Del Rey Skate Park, and I was still listening to, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and B-52, Bob Marley, Gregory Isaac, all these, I guess I was listening to B.B. King, blues people, and reggae was a huge soul, James Brown. That's what I listened to as a kid. And then when B-52s and then Selector and ska came in, where it was specials and it was all this, English beat, all those things came in, it really, and I became of age where I was like now wanting to go to the clubs. I was like 13, 14 years old, 13, 14 going to clubs. But yes, I was going to clubs at like 14 years old and going to concerts and gigs. And then it was immediately the Red Hot Chili Peppers came on the scene. And it was one of those things that was who we were. It was almost like we identified because I hung out with the brother of Hillel Slovak, and I hung out with Hillel, Anthony, Flea. We all hung out like on Fairfax High School, and to see that band come up from basically from being kids just into what they do to being as popular as they became, I saw that whole process, and it's definitely one of my favorite bands. Like their first album was incredible for me, and then Fishbone, all these LA bands that came up, the Untouchables, these are the ones we grew up with. And then it was the Cypress Hills, those bands. I hung out with them in the studio when they were just like wanting to put down a track, and so to see where they came. Ice-T was a huge person that loved skateboarding. I hung out with. I'd go up to his house, and we did crazy stuff, but it was always about the music. Awesome. It was always about the feeling of music, the rap, going to clubs, having people just feel the music. And back then it was huge. Back then, now it's still like that a little bit, but I think that the Motown, the soul for me really gets me going to where I'm like, wow, disco, brings me back. And then the ska and those kind of bands. But the new music of today is radical. It's a little bit different for me. I mean, I love some of the new bands. I mean, who would be, I mean, I listen to so much Christian like music, all the Mercy Me's and stuff like that, but it's so worship music
Yeah.
that it's just, you know, it's not what I skate to. I used to skate to Van Halen,
Yeah.
you know, Jamie's Crying. That was like
That's a
my
great song.
song that I skated to. And then AC/DC, Back in Black. It was like, those were like my final competition run songs. And then I played Bob Marley as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it'd be
Mix it
like
up.
cruising, slow, groovy beats, and I'd do my runs. And then the finals would be just like banging,
Mhm.
you know?
That's a great Van Halen song.
So, I mean, I could go on. I
Yeah,
could
the
keep
music
going.
is an
I
easy
could-
one to
I
go
could-
on and on.
Suicidal Tendencies was a
Yeah,
huge
we've got
part of,
Suicidal Tendencies songs.
huge part of us growing up,
Yeah.
you know, back in the day. So.
Well, awesome, Christian. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and thank you, Mr. Christian Hosoi. And you can get the second iteration of the Skate Legends by Stance
Is
now
that all the
on
questions?
stance.com. Yeah,
Is
and
that all the questions?
yeah, we were supposed to. We're getting kicked off, but we're excited. Thank you for all being here, and we're gonna try and do this again. Christian, would you want to come back?
I'd love to
second
come
time?
back.
Okay.
And ask more like personal questions. I
Yeah.
love that.
Okay.
You know, for me, those are the ones, the down and dirty. You know, get the dirt. Get the dirt
Yeah,
out.
we
I mean,
this is supposed to be like the Bruce Jenner interview.
Right?
That's what we were trying to do.
I
We're
thought
trying
that
to
those
break
were the
internet.
questions you were going to ask. Next time. Next time.
Next
Let's
time.
do it.
We're definitely gonna come back
Let's
with
do it.
Christian. The next sock too.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
plenty of
yeah.
socks to be done with Christian Hosoi.
Thank you for supporting me and my sock stance. I mean, I'm just honored to be a part of the whole stance family and you know, have these. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Thank you, Erica, for having
Well, thanks,
me.
Christian. Nice to
And,
see you.
Yeah. God bless you guys out there.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.